This is Joe Biden, the President of the United States. Currently, Biden is running for re-election, and his predecessor, President Trump, mounted a high-pressure campaign to get Biden to agree to participate in a presidential debate.
It's time for Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, and I to debate. We have to talk about what he's doing and where we're going. We owe it to our country. We owe it to all Americans. Anytime, anywhere, anyplace.
And I think that America was resigned to the fact that Joe Biden would likely never agree to debate Trump. In fact, many Democrats argued against it. You shouldn't have to debate an insurrectionist, or you shouldn't give Trump a huge platform because he'll spend the whole time lying. As if Joe Biden doesn't lie every time he opens his mouth.
Come on, Joe, let's do it. Anywhere, anytime, anyplace.
Every single poll finds that a majority of Americans believe that Joe Biden is not up for a second term. So if he straight up refused to defend his record against the bad orange man, it would make Biden look infinitely weaker. So on April 26th, Joe Biden appeared on the Howard Stern Show and was asked about it.
I don't know if you're going to debate your opponent.
I am somewhere. I don't know when. I'm happy to debate him.
He said today that, I'd love to debate, but he won't debate. I don't think he'll debate. Maybe he will. Maybe he will. I'm not sure he has a choice. But we're willing to do it Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, or Friday night on national television. We're ready. Just tell me where.
Trump's goading seemed to work, and Biden's campaign released the following video.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Well, make my day, pal. He thinks he's Dirty Harry, when he's more like Dirty Diaper. But what's interesting about that video is that many viewers noticed something odd, including Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, who wrote, Biden's video has 5 cuts in 13 seconds. What will Biden do in a debate when his many handlers can't edit and splice his sentences together? And spoiler alert, Senator Hawley was right on the money.
We created 15,000 new jobs, over billions of dollars in private investment, to $15 for a insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include beginning next year. For example, we have 1,000 billionaires in America. And what's happening? If they just paid 24%, or 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say.
So I don't know who's running the country, but it is 100% not Joe Biden.
We found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want, and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did.
So Trump told Trump to do whatever Trump wants, and that's what Trump did. Got it.
Child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
And that was the exact moment in time where Joe Biden lost the election. I mean, this is bad. We finally beat Medicare? What the hell?
President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
Hello, operator? Yes, get me the police department. I'd like to report a murder.
What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Stop! He's already dead.
Now, originally, I was planning on doing an in-depth, substantive debate analysis, but none of that really matters. All Joe Biden had to do was stand there, speak semi-coherently, and make Donald Trump look bad in comparison. But instead...
What do you say to black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed.
Joe Biden's debate performance was so abysmal that even the commentariat over at CNN couldn't put a positive spin on it.
That was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all. He did not do well at all.
Right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party.
There's been some real damage done that cannot be undone.
It was a really disappointing debate performance from Joe Biden. I don't think there's any other way to slice it. His biggest issue that he had to prove to the American people was that he had the energy, he had the stamina, and he didn't do that.
But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that.
You cannot tell me democracy is on the line and then give that performance tonight. If, based on that, in 18 weeks, Donald Trump will be the president-elect.
So, if you couldn't tell, Alyssa Farah-Griffin and the gang are more concerned that Joe Biden is going to lose to Donald Trump than they are concerned that a man who is clearly mentally impaired is running the country, supposedly. Here's CNN's Scott Jennings on the matter.
I'm worried about the president. We should pray for the president. I think his advisors, I think the White House, and I think his family have a lot of explaining to do to their party and to the American people. We have been told for weeks by Democrats who say, oh, in private meetings, I've seen Joe Biden do cartwheels and handstands while doing trigonometry while solving all the nation's problems. We now know that every single person who said that has been lying to the American people. This is a scandal.
To be fair, we knew it was a lie, and we've known it was a lie for the better part of Joe Biden's residency. I mean, his own DOJ declined to prosecute him because Joe Biden is a, quote, elderly man with a poor memory. Yet despite mountains of evidence, self-proclaimed historic figure Karine Jean-Pierre claimed that Joe Biden didn't need a cognitive test.
Did the president take a mental fitness or a cognitive test during his physical this morning?
Look, the president doesn't need a cognitive test. That is not my assessment. That is not my assessment. That is the assessment of the president's doctor. That is also the assessment of the neurologist, who has also made that assessment as well.
So this man who years ago nearly died because of a brain aneurysm doesn't need a cognitive test. I mean, come on, just look at him, he's fine. This doctor should be fired.
If you look at what this president, the president who is also the commander-in-chief, he passes a cognitive test every day. Every day.
You say there's no problem, he'd pass the test every day. Why not just have his doctor administer the test and then case closed?
Because the doctor doesn't believe that he needs one, because including the neurologist doesn't believe he needs one. Look, I think folks need to understand that the president passes, again, a cognitive test every day.
So Joe Biden doesn't need a cognitive test because he passes one every day? Makes sense to me. What's your problem? And as indicated by the very first poll conducted after the debate, the American public isn't buying it.
Our polling unit asked voters how they view the candidates now, including their cognitive health. The results are not encouraging for the president. The number of voters who say President Biden has the cognitive ability to serve has dropped from 35% earlier this month to 27% after the debate. That's the lowest number since CBS began asking voters that question last September. Nearly 3/4 of all registered voters now say he shouldn't be running, and nearly half of Democrats say he shouldn't remain the nominee.
In other words, the debate not only solidified most Americans' perception of Joe Biden, but it showed other Americans who either weren't aware or were on the fence to face the reality that Joe Biden does not have the mental capability to run the country. However, Democrats have been so desperate to stay in power, they'll tell you that this husk of a man is super sharp and has never been better.
I've said it for years now. He's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
So the most shocking part of the debate was when the best Biden ever completely forgot about the 18 brave servicemen and women who were killed under Joe Biden's watch.
When he was president, we still found ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
So for clarity, just this year, 2 Navy SEALs were lost at sea during a mission off the coast of Somalia, and 3 U.S. soldiers were killed following a drone attack in Jordan. Joe Biden attended their dignified transfer. Allow me to repeat that. He attended their dignified transfer. Not to mention that he also attended the dignified transfer of the 13 service members who, thanks to the Biden administration's incompetence, were killed during the withdrawal from Afghanistan. I guess he forgot since he was staring at his watch the whole time.
3 U.S. troops died in Jordan this year and more in Afghanistan in 2021. How can the president say none have died during his administration?
So, look, obviously the president, as you know, is the commander-in-chief, and you hear him even when he ends all of his remarks. He talks about respecting our troops who are serving today.
Hang on. Joe Biden talks about respecting our troops at the end of all his remarks.
God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gee, I must have missed the part where Joe Biden talks about respecting our troops. Let's try again.
May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
And may God protect our troops.
God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
May God bless you all, and may God help preserve our democracy. Thank you. And may God protect our troops.
And yet he can't remember the 16 flag-draped coffins that passed right in front of him. In other words, when Joe Biden says, "May God protect our troops," it's meaningless. It's a worthless platitude from a useless commander-in-chief.
And he obviously his son was obviously served as well.
So you all know this. Joe Biden's son, Beau Biden, didn't die while serving in the military. And I would like to point out, though, that Joe Biden mentioned his son 3 separate times during the debate.
What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again. My son spent a year in Iraq. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Again, Joe Biden, the commander-in-chief, mentioned his son Beau 3 times, but didn't bother to acknowledge, not even once, any of the 18 service members who have been killed under his command. And watch this clip again, because there's something important that needs to be pointed out.
I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
These weren't off-the-cuff remarks. They felt prepared, and it was clearly a mistake. Does he not consider these to be...
What I will say is the president respects our military force. He respects the families who have lost members of the military.
Just think about this for a moment. Joe Biden made the false claim about no one dying under his watch in an attempt to attack Trump. And when he was called out on it, Karine Jean-Pierre's response is, he respects the military. At this point, the only suckers and losers in this election are the voters who are still riding with Biden. Don't be suckers or losers, guys. Anyway, that's it for now, but I promise that we'll be talking a lot more about the debate and the ramifications in the very near future. So please make sure that you're following me on X at Don't Walk Run, and please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time, if there is a next time.